find your passion, it ignites you as a person. You just feel awesome. Hey, what is going on? How are you? I've missed you. All right, so I've had a couple of people come up to me and they were interested in competing. I just got off of an MMA fight like 5 days ago on Saturday, and people are like thinking about jiu-jitsu and wanting to compete in jiu-jitsu competitions. And so I wanted to make this video to highlight some of the 5 key reasons why you should compete, and some of these are female specific. So first of all, when you go, sorry about the background noise, but when you walk into a competition, all right, there is a specific vibe that you will feel. You have to watch out for the adrenaline dump. Like, everything is just more intense, like more intense than the most intense role that you've experienced while training on the mats. The reason why this is so important is it's a very, very good test in relation to self-defense. So going into a competition as a female or even as a male is the closest you will get to a simulated self-defense situation, because people are going to be aggressive. They are going to be coming at you that like they want to win. You can go into your gym and ask for a competition role, but you're not going to get the same type of feeling of like intensity and nervousness that you will feel when you compete. And having that experience teaches you a valuable lesson, because you will know how you will react when you are under pressure. And if you do happen to get in a real life situation where you are experiencing that immediate type pressure, then you will already have trained yourself in that response. It's very common to have an adrenaline dump and to just get so overworked and so overexcited that all the strength kind of leaves your body. But if your body has had the experience of having a competition, you will know that feeling and you will better able to address it, especially if it's not your first time feeling it. You know, you see these guys on the internet like, yeah, man, if I were to ever get into it, I would see red and things would just, no, you would probably hyperventilate and you wouldn't be able to do shit, and you probably have never trained. Like, calm down, step away from the keyboard and actually do something in real life. All right, anyway. So number 2, there are moments in life where it teaches you about yourself, and it's almost like as humans, we need some sort of like strife to grow. We need something that is a challenge for us to become better versions of ourselves. And there is no, from my experience, there is no better way to help yourself or give yourself an opportunity for that self-growth than through competitions. So yeah, if you're a fan of like self-growth, self-development, you love reading like self-help books, going and signing up for a local jiu-jitsu competition is a great way to like get some real world practice, to put what you've read like to work. Also, I find too, from my experience, so this is, I think we're on our 3rd one. So number 3, when you, from my experience being a female in competitions, I found that there is this like female camaraderie that happens. Like, you'll compete, but afterwards there's like this, excitement and like joy, and you'll find yourself like bonding with the other females. This happened if you watch my MMA fight that I posted and you watched me and Samantha afterwards. It is oftentimes like that. You'll find some females that you are just like, there's just this camaraderie and being in the competition and all feeling that type of like anxiety and pressure. It causes you to form these like bonds with each other, and it's just like a cool feeling. After my last like competition, which was an MMA fight, I felt intense feelings of like love and joy, and it was just a really beautiful experience because you're looking around and you're seeing people face their fears and you're seeing people overcome. And I'm kind of getting goosebumps right now just thinking about it, but it is such a beautiful thing to see that, to see people face their fears and self-overcome, and like you can see the strength of character in people, and that is like, seeing that is like the most beautiful thing in the world. So it's it's a beautiful thing. All right, so next is number 4. Or are we on? Yeah, number 4. All right, so this is specifically for females. If you haven't watched my history of jiu-jitsu video, go and watch that. You will really enjoy that. But if we're looking at the history of jiu-jitsu, we have to, like, jiu-jitsu was derived from judo. And believe it or not, let's say your grandmother was, I don't know, 20 years old, and she took up judo, which is the precursor to jiu-jitsu, and she wanted to compete. Guess what? She, back in like the 1950s, would have not been able to compete. There is this judo player called Rusty, and she actually disguised herself as a man, went to the YMCA and competed as a man, won, and then when she revealed that she was a female, they told her, yeah, you're gonna have to give that medal back. So as a female, like, knowing that my grandmother could not have competed in judo, like, makes me feel like it's almost like empowering to know that now I can compete, and to be able to take advantage of something like that is really beautiful. And to know that for the history of combat sports for women, a lot of women were told, like, hey, look, you know, this is too much for you, you're too delicate, we don't want you to compete because then you're going to be way too driven and way too focused on competing. You need to make sure that you're resting, and that we don't want to risk you being injured because your sole purpose is to, like, be a wife and procreate. So if you're the type of female that you really love doing things and you really love cultivating skill and you love the self-confidence that you get from doing things and from self-efficacy and from cultivating skill and challenging yourself, and once you already know the history behind judo and jiu-jitsu, it's like being able to compete is amazing. You know what I mean? Like, that's but yeah, so I think that competing is just a great challenge. And also, I think we're on number 5 now. Also, when you have a competition coming up, sorry about that, my phone just decided to shut off on its own. All right, so let me tell you a story about this. So this has happened to me, and this has happened to a lot of other people that I have spoke to, and it's happened to me in other sport areas. So when, for example, I was doing competitions for bodybuilding, I would sometimes line up show after show, and when I was in the gym, my only focus was, okay, this next show. My previous coach, Jay Jack, would tell me, like, he was a professional MMA fighter. He was like, man, like, he's like, I remember, you know, crying, and no, he wasn't crying. He was like, I was like eating a bunch of ice cream. Maybe he was crying. He was an emotional eater. Anyway, so he was like eating a bunch of ice cream, and all of a sudden he gets called for another fight, and then he has to like put the ice cream away. And he's like, you need to be very careful that you're not just doing this because of an upcoming competition, that your training and your motivation is intrinsic, because that's so important, because you want it to come from like your inside. Like, you don't want it to be an external motivator. So when you have upcoming competitions coming up and things lined up and things that you're thinking about, I mean, it's good because you will naturally become more focused, but it's also good to also be focused when you don't have something coming up. Like, for example, before this MMA fight, like, I was training a lot. You know what I mean? Doing doubles, triples, like in the gym pretty much every single day, and spending my entire evenings there. And when I had my MMA fight, like the weeks leading up to it, the 2 weeks leading up to it, that's literally the least I had trained in the entire previous 7 months, because when you're coming close to your competition date, you actually want to taper your training, because accidents will happen. It's almost like Murphy's Law. It's like the universe knows you have something coming up. So the percentage chance of you getting injured like increases exponentially. Just, I don't know why. It's like Murphy's Law. So it's something to, keep in mind too. But competing, especially if you are a female white belt, like, is something you should do at least once. You should start thinking about it, just think about it. Just go on the internet, be like local competitions. There's a promotion called, it's like Grappling Industries, coming off of a MMA fight. She broke her arm on my head. Like, what do you want from me? Yeah, so Grappling Industries is a good one. Yeah, just look up, like competitions near you, and you could see like different weight classes, especially if this is your first time competing. I wouldn't cut weight, just, choose a weight class that you're naturally in. That way it's like one less thing you have to worry about, and it's just more comfortable. I mean, all right, so thank you so much for watching. Just think about it. Just think about your first competition, go compete and have a good time, and enjoy it. Like, win, lose, you need to like look at that experience and pat yourself on the back because you faced a challenge. You know what I mean? You gave yourself a challenge, and everything in life is so much easier after you meet a challenge like that. And then pretty soon that excitement from it, like, you're gonna be like craving that. Like now, like after my last MMA fight, it's like, oh my God, that excitement is like something you want again and again and again. But all right, so thank you so much for watching. I believe in you. You're doing great. Keep it up. Keep training. You got this, all right?